Hey guys, we've got news for Global on July 28th, and today joining me is Deus again. So, welcome, Deus.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Glad you could join. So, Deus has limited time, so he might not be able to make the entire video, but we're going to get through the unit stuff at the beginning to make sure we can get some input from Deus. So, thanks again for joining. So, this week, it's Ruse, Nilika, and Neovision's Awakened Noreen. Now, I personally am not super hyped about these. I think just based on the global meta, they don't really have a place. I do know Ruse was a pretty big deal in JP. Nelica was kind of always underwhelming, and then Noreen is just unfortunate. But what are your thoughts about these guys, Deus?
Ruse is pretty decent water DPS, and I think he might fit in global kind of because of Kaito, but I think otherwise kind of whatever. Nelica is just an unfortunate DPS who I was always hyped about as the fist lady in my channel, but she has a problem that I don't know why they never fixed, and she never got buffed on global, so just whatever. And Noreen is literally a joke.
Yep, pretty much. So, it's the Armory Step Up again, but this time there was no new items added. So, normally the Armory Step Up is like a really big temptation because they had some good stuff in it, but at least speaking for myself, I already pulled all four of the previous ones, so I've already got both the materia, or is it three previous ones? Maybe it was three, but I have all the... I have all the good stuff. The only thing remaining for me is the two evasion pieces. And while I kind of wanted the physical evasion piece, that is not enough to tempt me for this banner. But it's there, and if you missed one of the previous ones, for example, the last one added the all you need is strength materia. That one's really good. So is it worth 28k just for that on a relatively underwhelming banner? Probably not, but it's there. It's there.
And have you ever mentioned the magic one?
The magic one, it's one of those things that because of the mechanics, it's like it could be good, but not really because you can't really evade almost anything. Like there's like one magic attack that can be evaded per like 7 bosses that will appear, and even then, usually if the magic attack can be evaded, it can also be nether-sighted, and that's just a way better way to handle the magic attacks. So yeah, the magic one is kind of a joke,
Some people are like really misled because magic evasion is almost never talked about, and it's never really mentioned, and it's hard to find information about it. So people actually think that you can actually evade ability magic, and I keep mentioning every time it comes up that no, you can't do it. It can't be stacked, and almost no bosses use actual magic attacks, so it's absolutely worthless.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, if it did work the way physical evasion worked, and you could just evade all magic, that would be well, I guess the same way as physical evasion. It'd be just game breaking, and I kind of feel like physical evasion, just from day one of the game, should have never stacked either, because at this point we're now in just you physically evade everyone because that's just the way it is, and I don't think that's good for the game, but I mean that's just the way it's been for 6 years. At this point you got to deal with it.
They actually had to make a mechanic to override evasion.
The accuracy stuff
As for a band-aid fix.
So here's Ruse. So as Deus mentioned, he is a water-locked DPS. His best damage is from his mech form. It's a trance shift, it is water-locked, and it does require some setup. That being said, his burst damage is really high, and I think like, he's just below like Sky and Chizuru for physical bursting. So he's like really high on global. The reason I say it's not great for me is because it's waterlocked, and because, like I said, on the JP server, nearly everyone's locked other than a few exceptions. But on global, most of our good DPS are not locked. So like we just got Chizuru, and she does more than him anyway, but also she's elementally flexible. That's why I'm a little not hyped on the elementally locked DPS guys. But do you want to explain about the way Ruse works? I think you have him on JP, don't you, Deus?
No,
Oh, you don't?
I have
Okay.
the other one. I have the other one.
Oh, you got Nelica. Oh, my apologies. But yeah, okay. He's
He's kind of,
oh, go for it.
it's like very similar. It's very similar to the Xenogears units where you can only equip certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, kind
Yeah.
of awkward, but he gets a lot of attack, so it kind of makes up for it.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing I am really glad about this, the one thing the JP developers did realize is just in this game, making units that don't use a weapon just doesn't really work. So these, thankfully, can use a weapon, and they do use weapons. Therefore, you can use weapon imperils, variants, etc. So his TMR is a two-handed sword. It's water element locked. It gives himself some flat attack. And then his STMR is a heavy armor. Only Brave XVS units can wear it. It is completely locked to Brave XVS only. But it is 150 base attack power, and it gives Ruse 500 more. So this is actually less attack power than the Ruler's Clash of Will gear, because that one's 120 plus 300 flat. This one's 150, so you're getting an extra 150 over that from True Double Hand, but it's still less than Ruler's. But it is the second best chest slot in the game. So, it's good. Do you think this is worth chasing the unit for specifically, Deus? Or the unit itself is good too? No?
No.
Say,
It would be nice to get like from like one of those 1 out of 10, Neovision tickets eventually, or an EX ticket. Like, oh wow, I just got it. Now I get a huge attack piece armor without spending any lapis, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is kind of off banner. You wouldn't really be too upset to see because it does bring something. And again, I really do want to stress, Ruse is very, very high burst damage in the physical water element. So like he's not a bad unit. His damage is fine. It's just for me personally, it's a pass for me. And then Nelica, who is going to have, like Deus kind of hinted in the beginning, one of the most hilarious oversights ever. So, this unit, you want to tell us about her, Deus?
So she's also very similar to Ruse, where she has the Brave Shift form that has she's basically a robot, and she has fists as a TMR. But there's a problem with her STMR, is that she can't equip it.
Yes, that is the goofiest thing ever. So let's jump back real quick to Ruse. Here's Ruse. His is heavy armor. Now in his, I got the wiki page up as well. Now in his shift form, this is Ruse, the DPS form. They can only wear weapons and accessories, no armor. But Furion's TMR exists, the 3-star, which allows him to equip his heavy armor and get these 500 flat stats, etc. But Nelica's STMR is medium armor. Medium armor, or light armor, whatever you want to call it, has no source in the entire game of equipping it. If you can't equip light armor naturally, you can't equip it. And notice right here, hers comes with a 700x modifier to her main damaging skill, and in her Brave Shift, she can't use it. Meaning, this is her main damaging skill, and you use this cooldown to boost it, and then her STMR for a 2100 modifier, but she literally cannot wear it in the shift form. This has to be the worst oversight in the history of ever, and she can't do it.
Is there anything in Global that could fix that? I don't remember.
There is not. Not even on Global. Global does have more sources of equipped gear, but still, nothing can equip light armor on Global. Now, before people say in the comments, oh, but it's for her base form. Yes, her base form can wear it. Her base form does have the same cooldown, and it would be higher damage. But the base form is missing the enormous attack boost that her shift form has, and the shift form, she's got somewhere in here, I'm overlooking it, a really high stat boost in the shift form from being in the, here it is, the 2000 attack power, which is why the shift form is way higher damage. But yeah, her base form is just a whole lot lower damage than her shift form. So her shift form, her best damage ends up being her LB, which is like a 280 modifier or something after her mod boost, which is just bad. That's just really low and really outdated. So, oh, and also just, the cherry on top, she's locked to lightning. She's lightning locked for all her skills. So this unit is the troll of the banner, big time, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Really feels bad. No really redeeming factors. I guess for other units, it is once again a 150 light armor. So for example, Esther can't wear heavy armor naturally. So like this would be a nice medium or light armor for Esther. So it wouldn't be terrible for other units. So you know, it's again a slight redeeming factor. And then Noreen. Noreen is one of those questions where it's like, why did they even bother? Like, because they have the ability to make really good Neovisions Awakened units with, like, you know, Titus, Squall, etc. Even, like, Poppy, upcoming soon, is a good Neovisions Awakened. Like, she's a good budget option. But Noreen, like, she just doesn't do anything. Her damage is so terrible. She doesn't have any utility. Like, why does she even exist? I just don't understand. What was the point of this unit?
It feels like they were trying to go in a certain direction. And they basically gave up halfway through.
I know it's yeah. I guess she's a bonus unit for the raid, so there's that. And then their vision cards. Now here's again where a lot of people get kind of bamboozled. They see the 140 attack power and they're like, "That's so good," but they forget that, or they don't notice that it doesn't have any flat attack at all. So even those 100 attack power series cards, like the Final Fantasy VIII card with Laguna, it's only 100 base stat, but it has 500 flat stats. That ends up being, even after a buff, that ends up being more power than these Wygar cards. And these Wygar cards have no passives at all except fill rate. So no killers, no like percent attack, no nothing. Just fill rate, which is like, who cares? So these cards...
It'd be nice if one of those was LB fill rate and the rest was like normal. Like 500 flat attack at the end and have like 100% LB fill rate in the middle and then have like the 50% attack at the top. I think that would be a decent card. But having them all, that is absolutely worthless and not even worth your Cactuar cards to level.
I know, like, oh my god, what were they thinking this week? I don't know. It's frustrating to me too, because when I heard about news of Ruse on the JP server, I was really hyped up because I like him in the story, and I was really hoping for like a good banner, but ended up not being the case. And then we have the Final Fantasy Brave Exvius raid. It's just a raid. There's really nothing you can say about raids. It's got some gear. Some of the gear is okay. Some killers. The killers are fine. It's a raid. As far as the EX battle, the consumed Omega Spawn, I don't really remember it from the JP server. Do you remember it, Deus?
There's like a green dragon, isn't that what it is?
I think so, yeah.
It's really difficult, actually, even for global, I think.
Oh, was it difficult? Okay, yeah, this one...
It was actually one of the first difficult challenges because you have to beat it in 3 turns, but it also has really high stats.
Okay, good. So that'll be something interesting to play with on Thursday. Looking forward to that then. Yeah, there was a point, you know, kind of recently in JP where the EX battles went from complete joke to actually, you know, needing a real team. So this might be the turning point where they're actually slightly more interesting. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to play with. And then that's basically it, guys, for the news. There's literally nothing else. There's a banner and the raid. That is the entire news for the week. So I just brought up this to just discuss briefly 2 other big changes. First of all, the abilities for the Celestite Rod are being changed. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar, this is the rod from the Chamber of Vengeance from Morgana. And if you've seen some videos from me and other people as well that have shown how crazy the morale fill is from this rod, it is being fixed. I don't want to say nerfed, even though it is being made weaker than it currently is. It's a fixed. In the original news, the rod did say it was supposed to go off only once per battle, but it's going off multiple times per turn. So it's being fixed, but they're waiting to fix it until after Clash of Wills has ended. So this is, I guess a good compromise. What do you think about this being changed, Deus?
I don't think it's that, like, it's probably was pretty much to be expected, is my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree. The morale fill of the existing current rod is is insane. It really does feel overboard and should not be this high. And they're going to be changing it to a more reasonable morale fill. But I am big thumbs up that they are not changing it until Clash of Wills ends. That way, people are not being penalized for not rushing it out, and the whole player base can have the same experience from the whole Clash of Wills. That's exactly how it should be, in my opinion. And the other thing, just to mention briefly, the other problem with the rod is if you item worlded the base form of the rod, it locks you out of upgrading it. And a lot of people have been saying, I can't upgrade it. What's the problem here? That's the problem. It's bugged, but it is being fixed during maintenance, so you can still use the upgraded rod for week 2. So if you want to get the crazy morale fill, before it's changed, it'll be there. That's basically it. Like, it's a relatively dead week. Anything else you want to say, Deus?
So, since this is the end of the video, the Gloomy Spy probably won't watch this far, but apparently there's a problem with the Physician's Ring in Clash of Wills where it gives more magic or attack than it should.
Oh,
I don't know if people know this.
Was that the... I think... Let me bring up that news real quick. You're talking about this... Let's see, let's get rid of this.
So it's a white ring, Physician's Ring.
This right here? This news? This is the Flag Bearers. Okay, so the Physician's Ring is different. Yeah. Let's go scroll down real quick to the Physician's Ring. Which one is that?
It's supposed to give, like, status resistance or something, but it actually gives, like, hidden stats for some reason. Someone pointed this out to me.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Okay. It must be a ring from season 4 then. It's actually not in the new news. Okay, so what's the problem? Or what's the bug?
It like gives stats even though it doesn't say that it does. It gives an insane amount of stats for some reason.
Oh, do you know approximately how much? Just for curiosity.
400 or so.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I did not know that. Okay, interesting. So that may or may not be fixed. I guess now that we're mentioning it.
Don't tell Gumi this.
Oh, it's too late. You let the cat out of the bag. I didn't even know about this, but okay, that's interesting. Interesting. That being said, it'll probably get fixed, especially now that I guess this is being more widely known. So I wouldn't recommend anyone buy that recipe for that reason, unless you want to hope that it's not fixed. It may or may not be.
It is a decent ring though. To be fair, it is pretty decent.
Okay, nice. Good to know though. But yeah, and I guess now that I brought up the news, this is news as well. They're changing the Flag Bearers ring, but the Flag Bearers was already disabled anyway. This is the one they took out because it was bugged. They couldn't get it to work. So this is how it was going to work. After it's being fixed, it's going to fill morale gauge based on your active allies. So I actually wonder if they're doing this because of the recent hide strategy for the Morgana fight. Because it says active allies on the field, which I assume means not hiding. I don't know.
That's exactly what it means.
So I guess they saw Flip Method's video of his like 800 turn hide cheese strategy for Morgana. They're like, nope, gotta fix that.
You can only have 800 turns of Bahamut.
Well, that's funny. But okay, so thanks again for joining, Deus. Even though the week was a little bit boring, but glad you could join to discuss it.
It's actually pretty ironic and funny that we finally get to do this, and it's not even exciting.
I know. I know. I wish. Well, maybe in the future I can have you back for something more interesting to talk about, like maybe a Vision World or a Clash of Wills or something.
I hope it'll be maybe near collab.
That'd be interesting. Okay. But all right, I will see you guys later.
Peace.